So yeah, this is cool. Ideally, like again, we want to keep trying to get awareness out and really get people to understand, you know, the lifestyle of owning an EV. I still think a lot of people are afraid of EVs for one reason or the other. So, you know, we just kind of start this off. It's a great start with you. You're the, you know, probably the best person to start off with, being that you're one of our members, and we also use and lease your car. So I guess my first question is, why or what Tesla or EV do you have, and why did you pick that one?
Well, I have the Model S, and it's interesting to me because I feel like the EV thing, you know, it's you know, a great benefit in itself, but it's also kind of a package deal with Tesla. I feel like, you know, if a company like Tesla wasn't behind this car, it would be kind of different for me and my personal choice. Just because I feel like Tesla is doing so much with sustainability, you know, and they just had their battery day the other day where they announced, you know, some huge innovations in how they design their batteries, which is just going to be absolutely imperative for the future of storage and energy storage. I mean, it's just, there's just so much that Tesla's doing that I feel like having their car really, you know, sends a message that, you know, I support that and I believe in what they're doing.
Yeah. And so what made you decide to go with like the Model S over the X or the Model 3? Like, what was your personal gear to make you go with the S?
Yeah, it was more of a vanity choice. We just didn't really like the X, and the Model 3 didn't have the range at the time, and it just made more economical sense to get the car that we chose. But it's been awesome. I just took it down to Houston the other week and had a really great experience using the superchargers, and it was just really cool.
Yeah,
it was a fun trip.
Okay, cool. Talk about that. Like, so you went from Dallas to Houston?
That's right. Yeah, so I drove to Houston, and it's really cool because the Tesla plans out your trip for you. It tells you, you know, how many miles you can get at the next supercharger, and it kind of plans it out to where you know, it's faster charging at lower battery levels. So there's kind of a math game there where, you know, if you drive at a certain speed and you get to the supercharger at a certain battery level, you actually charge up quicker. So you spend less time at the supercharger and more time on the road. And not only that, but the supercharger stations are really cool. You know, there's like free coffee, and it's just a nice break to, you know, spend 10 or 15 minutes where you can check your email or make some phone calls and then get back on the road.
Right. Was there a point in that travel time where you felt uncomfortable, you know, being that, hey, there's not a gas station that you can just jump off and fill her up? Like, did you get any anxiety at all?
It was my first like long distance trip, so yeah, I was a little nervous. I didn't know how it all worked, but you know, on the way there, it was different, and on the way back, it was complete confidence change. I mean, I didn't have any worries whatsoever. I knew I was going to make it, so yeah, I think doing that routinely would be, you know, there wouldn't be any shaking confidence.
Yeah. Now, I'm from Houston, and I've done that trip multiple times. And the second time that on my way back in a Tesla, I actually ran out of energy 1 mile from the Corsicana supercharger.
Oh, no.
And it was my fault, and it was because two things. It was Christmas season, 2018, and I forgot that once the temperature drops, the battery, you know, it just doesn't have as much power when the temperature gets dropped. So it got below 40 degrees, and I was driving it like I'm driving a normal car. And I'm thinking, well, I have enough energy to get there, and that temperature just got me, and I actually, you know, it didn't have the battery energy that I thought it did, and it just went dead on me right in the middle of the highway at like 2 o'clock in the morning on 45.
Yeah. So, wow. So how did you get to the charger?
Yeah, I called the tow guy, and you know, he said, first thing he goes, man, this is my third Tesla of the week that's ran dead, like right as they're trying to get to the supercharger. So I think what you brought up is really interesting. The math behind what you're doing. I wasn't thinking in that way at all my first couple trips. But as you get used to the car, you do think, okay, I have to monitor my speed because the energy disperses based on how much speed or how much throttle I'm giving it, and then how much time do I want to sit at these charges. It's not a big deal. Just you never had to think about that with gas, right? So it's and
Tesla does the math for you, so you can kind of, if you want to, you can kind of nerd out. There's actually really cool resources online that I found before then. There's people that do they call them hypermilers, where they drive so slow to really conserve that energy and get the most distance they can. And you can't really drive below 30 miles an hour on a highway, but there are people that do that. It's pretty crazy to me. I don't have the time to do that, but it's interesting.
Yeah, you'll see them on the road too. That's going, especially to like Waco or Houston. They're in the slow lane and they just got an autopilot, man, doing barely the speed limit. I mean, if you got time to do that, but very cool. So did you stop at? So there's two superchargers on the way to Houston, Corsicana and Huntsville. Did you stop at both or just one?
Yeah, I stopped at both, and it's also interesting too. Like the community aspect of it is, you kind of see the same people when you stop. When you're going to Houston, you see it's like, oh yeah, I recognize them or that Tesla. It's like we're all kind of traveling together. So, but yeah, the Huntsville thing, with the COVID, the hotel there was closed, but there's a great restaurant. So it seems like they build the superchargers, around ample amenities, so you don't really have to worry about, I got to use the restroom or something to drink or eat.
What's your favorite part of owning the Tesla right now? And also mention the battery pack size that you have.
Sure. So, well, two favorite things, if I may. One, I like the convenience of just being able to charge up at home, right? I've never been to a gas station. In fact, the guy, I had to get my car inspected for the state inspection recently, and I pulled into the inspection center, and he's like, "Oh, you're here for an oil change?" And I was just like, "Wait, what?" And he got me, because I was just like, "No, like you don't have to worry about oil changes. You don't have to worry about going to the gas. You come home at night, you plug it in, it's charged up the next day." Right now I probably go maybe 3 or 4 days before I even charge it up. So it's cost effective. And then the thing that I really love about the electric vehicles, the performance. It's really cool. The acceleration and the technology that's around it, as an engineer, is just fascinating to me. And I love, that G-force when you hit that accelerator and it takes off. That's really fun. But I have the 85, P85, and it's rated, on a normal charge, you only charge it up 80%. So usually keep it around like 225, and that usually lasts me almost a whole entire week.
Yeah, no, and I know you, I know where you live in Dallas, and I think, you're not really close to a supercharger. So, ideally, being able to charge at home is like, man, it's like, waking up with a full charge on your phone. It's like, yeah, you never have to go to the gas station, and that feels really good. And I thought it was interesting that you said that the acceleration. I think everybody's, inquisitive about that. But the electric power is just instant. It's not like gasoline engines that need to breathe, and I don't think people really understand the engineering behind gasoline engines sometimes, but they have to suck air before they can do anything. Right? It has to breathe in air to create combustion, and that little time alone, compared to electric car, could be the difference between a race or whatever, because electric cars don't need that. It's instant power. So very, very, very cool. So last question, and I probably know the answer to this, but would you ever, and I know you do own gas cars, and a lot of people have both, but if you had the opportunity to go 100% electric and never buy a gas car again, would you?
Absolutely. I mean, you can see the the path that we're on with California. They just banned gasoline cars after, what was it, 2025 or something? I mean,
Yeah, I think it's 2035. They want to be like they're not even going to allow you to register a gas car after 2035. So that's pretty good. I mean, pretty strong, right? Just for one state alone to kind of carry that mission out. And I think that if, from a government's perspective, if they took that same approach and even gave it to 2040, it would really gear up a lot of activity, right? It would gear up electrification. It would help us from a standpoint. It's like we want to build a community spot where people can come and charge and grab a coffee and go run around the track and even drop their car off like you would as you travel. You drop your car off to the facility, and we would take you to the airport, and then we would use your car while you're gone, and then you would make money. So that's kind of what we want to do in the future. And
no, I mean, it's to me, like I said, it's the package that Tesla has built around. Had it been another car manufacturer, and I know that they're trying, it just doesn't have the same prestige. It doesn't have the same innovation. I think that you can kind of compare Tesla to what Apple did for design 20 years ago, right? Apple was like that cutting edge, they innovated design, and Tesla's doing that same thing for sustainability. They're making it cool and fun. And with companies like eCarra, and what your business model is doing is absolutely phenomenal. And I know you guys are on groundbreaking, just really cool business idea, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Well, that's really all I got. Unless you got anything else you want to throw in there about the car and the experience, but that's very cool.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, man.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope to see you. We'll see you Saturday.
Saturday, October 3rd for Drive Electric Dallas, a showcase for sustainable transportation. Bring your EV or enter the Sexy Tesla contest, where we will give individual prizes for the sexiest model S, 3, X, and Y. There will be food trucks, demo rides in the fastest electric cars in the world, music, door prizes, and you'll learn about electrification from some of the best people in the business. Everything you need to know about electric cars, charging, and solar energy. For more information, visit eCarra.com. Sexy Rules, deadline to enter is Friday, October 2nd by 7 p.m. One winner for each model, public voting, and must be present to win.